Hello, everyone. This is Arcane Warlock. Chapter 41 was posted 5 days ago. Well, technically around 6. Um, no wait, no, it was around 5 days ago. Updated July 2nd. Anyways, my name is Arcane Warlock. Now, uh, some people might be wondering, what do you think of this story's three chapters? First three, well, they're great. Oh, I also got a shout out by the author on page 41, apparently. Yay! Okay, so, apparently people either enjoy it or don't. They just like part 1 and part 2 because those have 17 views. Ain't that cool? I'm finally getting more views, guys. Anyways, let's move on. So, we have chapter 4, Cause and Effect. I'm going to read it now. Let's begin. Something changed without warning. Globally, universally, dimensionally, something changed. A variable. Present that wasn't present before. It sounds dramatic when it is put that way, but the change wasn't really that big of a deal. Functionally, anyway. Except that the world's equation suddenly gained a new variable. All the pieces still operate the same way, but there's just something new thrown in the mix. Except, of course, a changed equation will all result in a changed solution. So, deep within the Ministry of Magics, deeper still within the Department of Mysteries, something changed. Suddenly, inexplicably, seemingly randomly, something changed. How many times do I have to say this? Before the event, an unspeakable was cataloging prophecies. An altogether boring and pointless job. I'm looking up what an unspeakable looks like, usually. Well, I guess just a cloaked person. Nothing new. All she was doing was filing out a parchment with notes that such and such prophecy in such and such row was, in fact, still looking exactly like it had the last time she checked. It is not like she could read them, obviously. Only the keeper and those mentioned in the Dawn things could actually pick them up. That meant that most, if not all, of the prophecies would never even be known before being fulfilled and falling dark. Not to mention that it was rare enough for any lit prophecy to even go dark. And rarer still for something actually interesting to happen. You know, knowing what the prophecy is and thus changing it. The prophecy about Harry Potter should technically have died immediately after beginning. Let's see, row 32, third shelf, fifth prophecy. She pushed her pair of rectangular glasses farther up her nose, staring into the misty white depths of the prophecy with disinterest before scribbling down a few words that in all likelihood would never be read. Present and accounted for. It was then that the change occurred, silently without fanfare, the dim white light of the prophecies, every lit prophecy simply vanished. For a long minute, the unspeakable just stared at the now plain glass ball in front of her, blinking slowly and with great confusion. She took off her spectacles, cleaned them on her uniform, put them back on, and peered around herself. She looked down the length of the row, every shelf. She walked to the end of the row and looked down the length of every section she was in. It seemed to be the same everywhere. Every prophecy was just Thanos snapped. Gone! The fulfilled prophecy still swirled with darkened mists, but every single one that had been lit just seconds before was now nothing more than an excessively large plain paperweight. This. As she slowly made her way towards the exit, too lost in thought to bother going faster, she continued checking each long row. There were no telltale lights on any shelf. To be honest, the Hall of Prophecy was spookily dark with the soft glow from the divinations. Sorry. This cannot be a good sign. But then, that's the thing about the future. Hardly ever seems to go as expected. On the other side of the country, Albus Dumbledore was sitting at his desk. His office was a spacious circular room filled with all manner of strange magics. The enchanted portraits of previous headmasters and headmistresses, currently dozing, covered the walls wherever the hall walls weren't already covered by bookshelves. Whirling silver baubles of all shapes and sizes filled the air with soft humming noises and the occasional puff of colored smoke. A fat round one with a slight green tint was slowly rolling in a tight circle around his desk. It knocked into his favorite quill, so he distractedly poked the little thing away and set the quill on a tall stack of paperwork. Things had become quite a bit more complicated recently, complicated and fraying from his tight control. Sirius Black, he murmured, voice soft and tired. Watching the green ball putter around in its circle for a moment, he added, "And of course, Harry Potter." It had been a mistake. He had known it was a mistake almost immediately after he had let it happen those 12 years ago, letting them take an innocent man with only the barest of protests, leaving him to rot simply because it was easier than the alternative. He had hoped he had moved past that. Moved past the all-consuming concept of the greater good, that shining, hideous lie from his youth. Dumbledore had planned to keep them separate, not wanting to keep Harry close and dependent, but safe, to be able to prepare him for what was to come and what he needed to be able to do. Of course, the boy's frustratingly and admirably Gryffindorish qualities would lead him straight to his godfather. Now the boy that would know that Black was innocent, and Dumbledore just couldn't let himself repeat the mistakes of the past. He couldn't just hand the man over to the authorities. That would break Harry's heart, and in no small way, break his own as well. Again. It was a mess. Is that a joke at that Dumbledore is gay? Stupidity? I hope so, because I don't know why it'd break his heart. But it was also an opportunity. Perhaps this was a chance to make up for his mistakes. In the shadows of his mind, a part of him pushed to leave Black to his fate. Voice that argued that Black could and would ruin everything. Voice that sounded so much like someone he had once called a friend. He pushed it aside, out, away. If another part of his crafty mind was already scheming, already twisting this mess to fit into his plans and finding new exploits, that part he left alone. The end result would be the same, regardless of any additional benefits. Black would be free, saved by Dumbledore's interference, if not by his own hands, providing Harry with a plan to save not only his godfather, but the Hippogriff as well. That was well within his skills. It would work nicely. Just a matter of waiting for Black himself to get himself caught, which should happen soon enough. Then he could send his plan into motion. Dumbledore allowed himself a small, sad smile, his blue eyes twinkling with a more calculating gleam than he usually lets show. The ball abruptly stopped rolling, the green color draining away until it was the same silver color as the other trinkets. Dumbledore blinked at it. Much like a certain unspeakable who had been catalogued for prophecies, he took off his half-moon spectacles, cleaned them, pushed them back on his nose, and blinked at it again. This little ball had been enchanted roll out only so that nobody would look at it too closely. The charm that actually mattered was a monitoring spell. It monitored Harry Potter's prophecy. The prophecy. It was supposed to glow green for when everything was normal, red if somebody removed the prophecy, and yellow for anything else. It was certainly not supposed to just stop. He picked up the little ball and drew it on to give it a slight tap, confirming what he had already guessed. The spell had been cut off, which shouldn't have been possible, since even destroying the prophecy's orb should have only caused it to change to yellow. Still trying to figure out what could have happened, he placed it back onto his desk and left his office. The halls of Hogwarts were quiet, soft snoring from the many porches and occasional gentle creak from the castle itself, accompanying the sound of his soft footfalls. A breeze from outside slid through cracks in the window frames, whistling silently, quietly. Above him, a ghost in a shimmering dress silently flew in through the wall. It was peaceful. And then it was white. A form of magic slammed through Hogwarts, pure white light flooding through any window it could. Portraits jerked awake with sounds of confusion, and even Dumbledore staggered in surprise. It was over quickly, whatever it was. Magic? Magic? The ghost whispered, her form unsteady and even paler than it should be. She was staring out the window with something akin to awe in her gray eyes. Magical Britain's most renowned and powerful wizard stared with her. Something had changed this night. And so, that was chapter 4 by this fantastic fellow Poplasia, or Poplasia, whichever one. I can't pronounce it correctly, but you can. Chapter 4. Now I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to use it for this link at the bottom of the description. Goodbye, have a nice day. Arcane Warlock signing off. Oh, and what I think of this chapter so far is pretty accurate to what would happen if Sans appeared. He's in a new world where it's populated by magic itself. Take, for example, Fate Stay Night. They've left the Age of Gods. But what if Shiro Emiya was to be put into the Age of Gods? Well, he'd be hell of a lot more powerful. That's basically what this is. Sans gains a power boost. It's not like he would really need it for anything. He is kind of already a hack, so. But yeah. Also, I'm not sure. I know the drawing is good and all, but it could use some work. Anyways, Arcane Warlock signing off. Have a nice day or night. This was made I'm very tired. Okay, bye.